All right. Alrighty.
Welcome to another video of the Previously Anxious podcast.
Yes.
We're happy to have you guys back again. And yeah,
Let's get into it.
We will be talking about adulting. And before we get into it, guys, don't forget to subscribe.
Yes.
And like, and send to your friends.
Yes. Okay, adulting.
Where do you want to start?
Now, I'm going to be like so honest with you guys. I feel like when I hear that word, like I cringe.
Adulting?
You know, it's weird. I feel like ever since I was a child, I knew I wanted to be an adult. But I feel like
we're one of those children.
I was one of those kids. I just knew like that'll be my time.
Yeah.
Like I'll be free. I'll have my own apartment, preferably in New York. You know, I'll be living, like I just will be doing all the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
But I do feel like somewhere along the way, I was like, ooh, you know, this is not it.
Yeah.
This is not what they promised
what
me.
I signed up for.
Not at all. It's gotten to a point where I will say, like, obviously, like, when you include, like, mental health struggles, which has, like, impacted so many people.
Yeah.
I do think that obviously, like, makes, like, the common thing, like, making a meal or making sure you're going to bed on time or, like, you know, just staying rested or whatever. It does make it more difficult. But overall, adulting in itself is hard.
I feel like it's even more than hard. I feel like in high school, for me, you know, you always hear, or like, at least I always heard and saw things on social media of people being like, you don't have to like complete things at certain times and like, there's no right way to grow up or like be an adult. And I used to always believe that. Like, because, you know, our oldest sister, she's 5 years older than me. And so when she was going through her struggles of like, I'm 21 and I'm not doing X, Y, and Z. I'm 24 and I still haven't type thing, or I don't have my own place, or I haven't had things figured out. I would always be like, she's so crazy. Like, you're only 24, you're only 21, whatever. And I would be telling her like straight up, your life doesn't have to be planned out, or like, you never know when this will happen for you.
Yeah.
But I feel like as soon as I hit 18, and shit wasn't lining up the way I thought it was supposed to, that's when I really realized like, oh, this is what people were talking about. And
100%.
like, this is the stuff of like, this is what horror movies are made of.
Yeah.
Being 21 and thinking like, oh, when I turn 21, I'm supposed to have an apartment or have had da-da-da. Like, it's so, and then it's not just like your own thinking. People could try to say like, we've moved on as a society of like trying to think like we all have accepted that people have their own ways in life, but that's just not true. Like, you still run into those people of like, they'll ask you like, oh, like, do you have an apartment? And you're like, oh no, I'm staying with my mom. And they're like, oh,
yeah,
you know, and it's like,
and they're like, why?
I mean, adults, young people and adults the same. I can see a young person doing that because they're just an idiot.
Yeah.
But like, you will run into some adults where you're like, oh no, like, I'm still like with like staying here. And some of them will be like, yeah, save up your money. That's good. And other ones would be like, you're 22 and haven't left the house. Like, that's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about the milestone monsters. I feel like I can't stand people like that. I can't stand people like that. I have never been the type of person that felt like any of our lives ever have to be the same.
Yeah. Or that we have, but at the end of the day, it's more than just like lives being the same. It's also like, people can think like, oh, we're all different, but still cringe at someone who's like, oh, well, I'm 25 and never been in a relationship. Like, it's still like you're saying, like those milestone monsters. It's some people who are like, well, you don't have to live the same life with me, but like by 25, you should have been in a relationship, or like by 26, you should have type thing. And it's like,
I think people need to take more time focusing on the human being in front of them.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you stop taking things out of the context, like, you know, what are people generalizing on social media? Like, what is the new thing that we all feel like we should be doing together and that we should all have in common? And it's always something insulting. Yeah. It's always something that the average person cannot reach. And I feel like maybe if you stop thinking about that and look at the person in front of you and maybe like try to dissect this person as a human being in the sense of, okay, clearly if I had to like let this person explain themselves, they would say, oh, they tried and it didn't work out. Yeah. Or maybe they're a little socially awkward, or
maybe they're working through trauma.
Maybe they're working in general and they're a little too busy.
Or maybe they don't care to be in a relationship. Sometimes it's also just that.
And like all of those points are extremely valid.
Yeah.
Just because this person in front of you, maybe they have not been in a relationship by 25, it doesn't mean that like, oh, like because Twitter told me, that means they have to be a psychopath.
Yeah.
Twitter told me like, oh, they have to be.
At this point, it's TikTok. It's not Twitter. TikTok is feeding firsthand into these people's brains.
I do think that people on TikTok, though, are just me having never been on TikTok.
Yeah.
I do feel like people on TikTok, though, in comparison to Twitter, are a little bit more open-minded.
I disagree. No, I'll die on this hill. People
A criticism.
People love to think that TikTok is like the new world order.
Okay.
In the sense of like, when you're on TikTok, like you're just free. We don't judge people on here. Like, you know, we listen and we don't judge and all these types of things. I think that people on TikTok are vicious and terrible.
Oh,
And I'll die on that hill. I don't care that there are TikTokers posting and they're like, oh, saying the craziest things ever and being like, I'm 27 and I live out in the country field with my 7 snakes and we're happy. And like that person has 5 million followers. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, y'all can try to pretend, but I know the truth.
Yeah.
I've seen the comments.
You're tapped in. Yeah.
I'm tapped in and I don't believe, like, I think that people on TikTok are just like heinous, but the ones who try to smile and act like, no, we love it.
Yeah, but
like,
secretly, like, you're the ones that are like trying to tear these people down.
I mean, you're tearing it down like on that app and in real life.
And in real
like, I just don't believe y'all.
Yeah, that's true. I do think like, I don't know, I have zero faith in humanity. So I'm just going to go along with any negative thing. Yes. Like that's me right now. That's where I'm at. But I just kind of feel like I know I've seen what they've done on Twitter.
Yeah.
As well. I've seen the greatest of them fall on Twitter. So I feel like I know what that app will do as well.
Yeah.
Instagram is just a cesspool of incels. Instagram is turning into like Reddit in the sense of like people be on Instagram who have no business being under certain people's comments. In fact, dare I say, it's people who specifically hate that type of thing. Yeah. And I'm a victim of it as well. The Instagram algorithm is showing me things that I hate. And I know people will say, well, then stop clicking it. All it takes is one video.
And let me say one thing. I'm a YouTube stan for sure. Like, I feel like YouTube is the supreme form of social media. And I hope that they hear this. Yeah. The algorithm hears this. Yeah. And they put us on everyone's For You page. But anyways, but one thing I will say, and like, people just don't want to believe this. And I'm okay. And it's going to challenge what you just said. I'm a fan of Instagram. Okay. In a sense of like, above the other social medias, for me, it goes YouTube, Instagram, and then all the other ones. Yeah, me too. Like, all the other ones are lumped in together with like, I don't like them. I don't like the updates that they do every 2 seconds for no reason. Yeah. And I'm not saying that there aren't like terrible people on Instagram. You can look in the comment section. But for me, I feel like that's my place as far as like, this is what social media is going to get for me. Because I'm not spreading myself then and making a Twitter and making a TikTok. I'm just not doing it.
And so like my take on that, I think Instagram is still a place that could be whatever you make it. And I guess like
that's what I think too.
Come on, I feel
like Twitter and TikTok, there's a certain vibe there that like, that's just what the vibe is. Yeah. And if you're not fitting into that, then like, okay. But I just personally feel, and people really disagree with this take, but truly, I feel like Instagram is what you make it. I feel like if you're having a bad time on Instagram, it's kind of on you.
Yeah. And so like, as a person who's having a bad time, I can second that. No, as a person who is definitely putting in the work to stay miserable in the apps, I'm like, I can second that. Yeah. I think like I have got to spend more time. Also, like circling back around to the adulting topic, I have got to put way more work in to have a better experience. Yeah. Like on social media and in real life.
In real life, okay, that's the thing about adulting too that they don't tell you. When you're in high school, your whole life is kind of like set up for you, low-key. Yeah. I mean, everyone.
And in college to a certain degree as well.
Oh, I don't know. I disagree. But I feel like, okay, we can't agree on high school. I feel like everything is set up for you to have a certain thing. Like you see the same people every day. So you naturally, of course, like I said, everyone's high school experience is different. So if you were bullied or if you didn't have a lot of friends, of course, like this is different for you. But like, I feel like for the average high schooler, you see the same people, so you just naturally have friends. Yeah. You do the same thing every day. Yeah. Like when it comes to doing, like going to sports activities and stuff like that, it's kind of like, I guess I'll just go. Like, you know, there's kind of like nothing stopping you from like, quote unquote, participating. unless like you have debilitating like social anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of stuff. It's kind of like all thrown in your face. So it's like if you and your friends want to go to like this or that, then just go. But I feel like when it comes to college and adult life, it's like everything that you want to do, you have to initiate it.
100%.
You can't wait for an opportunity to fall in your
It's
lap.
not going to come, and it's not even just that you have to initiate it. You have to go crazy in that direction.
You have to steamroll.
Like
forward.
steamroll.
And you have to keep it up because also
Consistency.
like you think like, well, let me like work up the nerve when I finally like go to this basketball game, and then you have a bad time. You have to keep doing.
You have to keep
like
going.
it's like after hitting roadblocks, you have to literally continue. Versus in high school, like you don't really necessarily hit road. Like when you do, there's another thing to do. So it's like whatever.
You know, it's so crazy, but like my tennis coach, who technically was our tennis coach as well, private tennis coach, shout out to Coach Amp.
Yeah.
Literally used to tell me, because like me being me, me growing up in the house that I grew up in, I think like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I was a certified brat. Like I feel like, you know, I'm gonna be so honest. And so like one thing I remember he told me that like has always stuck with me is like the only thing that you can control is your attitude and your effort. Like everything else, like you just are not going to be able to control everything else in life, you know? But these are the only two things that you will always have power over.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me even in adulthood because it's so true. Like when I'm down and I'm literally thinking like, hey, I don't have the relationship that I want to have had by now or want to just be in general. Like if I don't feel like I have the friend, if I don't have the accolades, if I don't have the apartment, it's kind of like, I still have a choice on if I'm going to let that like literally break me down.
Yeah.
And not even just like you have a choice on like if I'm going to be like miserable over it. You also like on that same note have a choice to get up and go get the things you want.
Like
It works both ways.
Into
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like I really wish somebody would have told me when I left high school and went to college how much effort it takes to have a life or to have even happiness.
Yeah.
Because when you're younger, happiness just comes to you.
It just comes to you.
It's just there.
It's yeah.
You know, you don't really have to like do anything.
Yeah.
But it's like as soon as I plopped down on a college campus, it was unbeknownst to me for a long time what it was that the issue was.
Yeah.
But like now looking back, it's like you have to put so much effort as an adult into friendships. You have to put so much effort into getting the job and career you want. Or like in your studies, if you want to learn something, you're not just going to naturally learn it in school. You have to put effort into like, what can I do outside of this to like broaden my horizons or whatever the thing is I'm interested in. And then when it comes to cultivating like your happy life and the things that you're interested in, it's not just going to come to you. I mean, you have to go look for that salsa class. You have to go look for that cooking class, whatever it is. And you have to keep it up.
I feel like what they don't tell you as an adult, you will not be naturally good at anything anymore. Let's just start there.
Let's start there.
You are not going to have a natural raw talent for a single thing in adulthood. Not cooking, not taxes.
No.
Not like driving, not handling
making
bills.
friends, like deep friendships.
Yeah, and so then on the second part of that, they also don't tell you that adulting, turning 21, is like being dropped on, being raised up on the platform in the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And all the things that you want, friendship, love, success is right there in the middle.
And there's so other people in the circle and you're all looking at each other like ready to
and then like the fucking horn goes off and like you're racing for it and you're competing with people for dear life.
And people are literally trying to kill you in the process.
Yeah. That's what they don't tell you.
That's what they don't tell you.
No.
And it's so serious.
Yeah, it's actually so sad.
We're like laughing, but it has been nothing to laugh about for like 6 years.
It's nothing funny. There's nothing funny about it. No. I feel like you get to a certain point where I think it just kind of comes with the experience.
Yeah.
But also like back to what we're saying, it shouldn't be that way though.
No.
I feel like something that I told myself for 2024. We're in 2025. Something that I told myself something that I told myself for 2025 was that I really want to be so proactive in my own life.
Yeah.
I actually probably did tell myself this in 2024. Didn't do it. Now I'm doubling back. I want to be proactive. I want to be someone who, if I am going to fight, I want it to be fighting for the things that I like. You know, I need to build my life out like a For You page. Like, I feel like I want the things that I want to be in my life, curate it, curate that shit, figure out, okay, this is the kind of person I want to be. These are the things that I'm interested in. It's not going to just like
fall in your lap.
It's not going to fall in my lap. If this is something that I want, I have to go after it. And like, I feel like a good example of that is like, you know, on the discussion of hobbies.
Yeah.
I'll be taking a boxing class after this, guys. My first boxing class.
Period.
Yeah, like she's gonna get that aggression out.
Gonna get in the ring.
I'm gonna get in the ring because I need to get my lick back.
Yeah.
I feel like I could think of one thing each year since the age of 7 that I have to fight for.
Yes, that you need to fight out.
That I need to fight out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I have had someone to punch every year since 7 years old.
Since 7 years old.
7 years old, and I didn't hit them, so now I'm gonna let it all out in the ring.
Yes.
In like 45 minutes. So I feel like with that being said, yeah, like pick up that hobby that you always wanted to do.
The hobby.
Right? Pick up a book.
Pick up the book.
Pick up a new show.
Return to the things that you loved when you were a kid.
Return to yourself, because who you were, I don't care what anybody says. Adulting is realizing that who you were as a child is who you will always be.
No, like you're literally still that person. I don't know where that person goes between the ages of like 13 to 17. I think that the teenagers,
you put them in the basement.
We're all being like possessed by something. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah.
But like we're all possessed by something.
Hormones?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then you like snap out of it.
It's the hormones in the food. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. That's what Big Pharma doesn't want you to know. Anyways,
yeah.
But like you hit like 18, 19 and like you realize that that kid that like was sad, or maybe even that kid that was like nerdy, or whatever it is that you were when you were like 6 or 7, is still very much your actual personality.
Yeah, like to your core.
To your core, like it's not going anywhere.
It's interesting. It's like you said, it's kind of like you shelve that version of yourself in like high school. And for some people, it also lasts in college, because I think for me it did. I was a late bloomer in the sense that like my like inner child was in the closet, chained up, locked up, like tape on the mouth. And so I feel like it wasn't until like literal adulthood, like post college, that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having feelings about things. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then realizing like, you know, some people unfortunately don't have like people in their family and like people in their lives that they've known for so long. They don't have a person that can like tap in with them and literally like say, hey, like you've always like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like me, like if I'm talking to mom, like she would always make a big fuss about how I always used to love to read. And so like now, ever since I got my own apartment and started my big girl job, new city, new state, whatever, I have been reading like crazy.
Yes.
I read a book a month and I'm like, this is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like you ask someone you grew up with and they're like, what are you talking about? You always love to read. And I'm like, oh.
Girl, 100%.
Right?
100%. Yeah. Like I found this new thing and I'm so into it. And it's like, what? You've always liked this.
You've always
It's
liked
the
that.
way that like I forgot that I used to actually like the outdoors.
That's
and like
crazy.
I used to like actually going walking and like being outside.
That's crazy. You've always liked being outside though.
Yeah, and like going to the park like makes me so happy.
You used to go outside when it would rain really hard.
No, literally as a kid, it would start raining and I'm like, yes,
Running outside.
get the towel, go outside and like run around in the backyard. And like sometimes just sit and
Like literally like, yeah.
no, like manic. It's like that I would come back in literally doing it by myself. Like
It seemed really healing.
Out there.
It seemed really healing.
It was me and God out there.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
the fact that I forgot, like I used to want to be a Girl Scout so bad. Never was able to do it.
Really?
Yes, so bad. And like, now I'm an adult and I'm like, why do I want to go hiking so much? And it's like, I've always wanted to do that.
You've always wanted to do that. And it's kind of like, so then join like a hiking club.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's also like, we have never been in a place as a society where there are so many resources and people feel so stuck.
Yeah.
It is actually an answer for everything. You pull out that phone, that little black box, and you can find whatever you want.
Anything.
If you're tired, you can find a way to energize yourself. And I'm talking about groups of people. I'm talking about there's a group for everything. There's a hiking class, there's a cooking class, like any type of sports you want to do. And yet it still ends up feeling like I'm trapped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like there's nothing.
Like you're looking in the class and you're like, yeah, like there's nothing for me out
There's
here.
nothing.
No, it's actually so bad. But I feel like back to what you were saying about hiking. I think it's so important to just identify what that thing is for you for starters.
For starters, yeah.
Because adulting, like we said, it is going back to healing your inner child. What is the thing that you've always wanted to do?
Yeah.
And like, give it to yourself.
Oh my gosh, no, I'm also thinking about how, like you said, reading. I feel like I loved reading as a kid too, but like I never stopped reading.
Yeah.
Like, you took like a long break, but I literally became an English major.
That's so
like,
true.
I was still reading.
That's so true.
But like, this is just this is kind of off topic, but I'll veer back into the topic. Literally, I went and read back before we moved from our old house.
Yeah.
I found like all the stuff that I wrote as a kid.
Nice.
And I remember my first little quote unquote book that I had to write for my class. I remember she told us to just write a little story, and everyone else's was like 5 pages. I literally wrote like my first novel or so. I thought. I was like, yes. And for some reason, I remember getting such a high grade on that and being like so proud of myself. So when I found it and I saw that there was a C on it, I was like, did trauma like erase my memory and make me think I did better on this? And then I opened it and I was like, what was this about? I literally wrote that thinking that I wrote like my original first piece. It was literally just the Titanic. It was literally the script of the Titanic. And I don't even remember having seen that movie at like 7 years old. This was second grade. I'm like,
wait, what did she write?
and I literally got a C because halfway through, the girl who was a love interest, I changed her name like halfway through. I changed the character's name like halfway through and like didn't go back and change it any other ones. And there were like so many typos because this was like my first written piece. This was written word, not writing, but like typed.
Oh my goodness.
I thought I was eating. It was like 15 pages long.
Wow.
Like 15 pages as a kid. You know,
That's
like,
15 pages right now, hun, is a lot.
But like,
Please.
it was like 15 pages times New Roman 12. And like, I was getting busy. And I was like, oh, this is like an epic. Like, this is a story that's never been done before.
Yeah.
And it was literally just a Titanic.
Let me tell you something about that. So I think it's so important to like, as a kid, obviously, like recognize the feeling.
Yeah.
Sit with how something made you feel, not with what it looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's about you felt that.
No, like I think that I thought back and thought that I got an A on that because of how proud I was after I finished and I taped it, like I stapled it together and I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
No, I feel like that's no, that's so valid. I can only imagine. Not the Titanic though. I think that is
like that was crazy.
actually so funny. I would love to read that. But side note, like send that to me. I feel that. I think if I ever went back and looked at my first photo, it's probably humiliating.
Yeah.
And it was taken on oh my gosh, do you remember my little Pantech camera? It was a phone. It was like a BlackBerry, but it was called like a Pantech. Oh, see, you're not really ooh.
I remember your phone, the slide up one, the one that had the paint splatter.
That one was really nice as well. Yeah. But no, my first ever phone was a very tiny, like it's probably like half the size, like right where like this.
Yeah.
This guys, like right where the camera starts. And it was a Pantech BlackBerry, and I was getting busy in like the camera.
Period.
And the little gallery they had, I think it's called like a gallery.
Do you remember your phone that had the zebra print that was the green and black?
Yes.
I remember thinking that case was so cunt. And now I'm looking back and I'm like, that was a crazy phone.
No, it was cunt. No. I had the phone cases that were like, it was out there.
It was in your face. It was giving Jersey Shore.
It was in what's Jersey Shore was the cuntiest show to come out in the early 2000s. So I feel like let's not. I was definitely gosh, do you ever think about if you were like raised somewhere else, like how different you would be?
Yeah.
Sorry, not to get off topic for the 20th time, but that is definitely something I think. Well, honestly, it's not that off topic. I think something that's really important, obviously, like on the nature versus nurture debate.
Yeah.
I do feel like nature plays a significant role. There is no...
who you grew up to be.
I'm sorry, what did I say? Nature or nurture?
You said nature.
I lied.
Nurture.
So nature is the biggest role. Like naturally, like your genes are your genes. You can't change that. But what I meant to say was nurture plays a larger role than people care to admit.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you are put in a loving family, you can really beat the odds despite what's working in here genetically.
No, because literally I also think about like, I would say our family was loving, but then when I think more of it, if we were raised at a young age to already believe that like if you want a certain life for yourself, you have to do 20,000 things to get it instead of just thinking like happiness just happens, then like when we became adults, I don't think that, at least for me, like that would not have been such a slap in the face.
100%.
Of like, oh, if I want friends, I have to like work super hard to get them. Or like, oh, if I want like, if I want to know how to do this, I have to start off bad and work at it crazy to like be good at it.
Yeah. Basically, on that, and like also on like the anxiety that came with it. Like I think like there, for me, it was like I didn't experience like anxiety until like my later years, even though I think I definitely had like a lot of I think I've always been afraid of everything my entire life. I think I didn't have like crippling fear until like maybe like the past 3 years. Debilitating fear, I guess I would say. But I think that it really was like I would not say we were spoiled, but I would say like, I don't know how else to like.
I would say like sheltered.
Yeah,
in
sheltered.
a sense of like what the hardships of
And spoiled mentally. I guess I would say like for more of a mental level, we definitely still had to like do things growing up.
Yeah.
But I feel like the mentality definitely always was like, if you do this, you will receive this. And it like in the sense of like, you know what I mean? You're smart. If you work hard and get good grades, nothing in your life is going to go bad. That was it. I feel like we never pushed past like those beliefs because it was always just like, hey, that worked out for us this
the
far.
thought of like, you're a good person, you're smart, things are just going to come to you.
That's always
like things are just going to happen for you.
Things are just going to happen.
Like, I don't know if like mom would say certain things like that for like affirmations. Because like now you know, you see people look in the mirror and it's like, I'm full of love and love comes to me.
Yeah.
You know, like stuff like that. But personally, as someone who has, like I said, like we've risen from the ashes like a phoenix.
Like a phoenix.
I don't believe those people. And I don't believe in that. And not in a way of like, no, life is hard, so you have to be. No, not that. I believe that good things are worth fighting for.
Good things are worth
you gotta work hard.
You have
and like that is it's for the love of the game. Like that's where the fulfilling nature comes in. Like I just worked my butt off for this thing.
Yeah, I think that like sometimes you have to like get in the ring like gladiator style.
Yeah.
And literally fight
for your
with
life.
the sword in your hand.
Yes.
Like on a chariot for the things that you want.
Yes.
That's the level of intensity that you have to have when you're going after things in your life.
And that you have to bring to the table.
And that you have to bring every time. You need to bring that in searching for a job. You need to bring that in like having a family, in cultivating a relationship and keeping a relationship. With friends as well. I feel like
I was about to say, let's talk about like not even just what you want in your life, but when we're talking about adulthood, one thing that I'd never thought would be this hard is making friends in adulthood. That's one thing that
I feel like that's an episode in itself, but yeah.
It is, but that's one thing that people did not talk about because people did talk about like, they would always say like, you think you know, but when you get out there and get a job, that's going to be hard. Okay, I'm saying it is hard. But
like, I always knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, but people have been saying that since dawn of time. No one ever talked about how, because people just said like, oh, when you graduate high school, you're going to get to college and make like the friends that last a lifetime. That's people always like say that.
Yeah.
But it's like, as someone who had an alternative college experience.
Okay, yeah.
Which maybe we'll talk about in a different episode.
Yeah.
Because I can talk about that for a full hour.
Yeah.
That was not my experience. And so now it's like, and some people said it was hard finding the friends that they did find in college, but they're still locked into with them now.
Gotcha.
As someone who does not have that as their reality, it is very, very difficult
100%
as an adult to not just make friends, but make friends that you actually have something in common with. That like will stay in your life for a while.
Yeah. And yeah.
I feel like a lot of people like now at the job, like now that I have a job, it's like I could become close friends with my coworkers, but it's like we don't have anything in common.
And so I do think that in itself is like a interesting like conversation and debate.
Yeah.
Because I've been saying this for years. I have not found the answer. As an adult, is it more important to befriend people that you have things in common with? Or is it more important in adulthood to just find a sense of community? Like more of that whole thing of, you know what I mean? Like when you're older, it's just about companionship.
And that's the thing. I feel like friendships aren't all about having 100% of things in common. I feel like that's definitely true. And I won't argue with someone who's like, you guys don't have to like have the same music taste or like the same TV shows. Okay, like fair point. I do think that like people's hearts are more important. And like you said, having a companion, having someone that will care for you, someone that will pick you up from the airport, because that was a whole debate on social media, if you guys remember. But it's like, those things definitely are more important than like, oh, we share the same playlist.
100%, yeah.
But I do think that we can't, it might not be the biggest portion of friendship, but we can't say that this is not a part of friendship. Having things in common, like you laugh at the same things. You find the same, like not even the same, you find similar things interesting. It doesn't have to be the exact same, but you like this, you like that. But when your friend talks about this, you're still interested. Like, oh, that's interesting. You know, like I'm tired of people acting like when it comes to friendships, like, well, if someone shows interest in you, then like just be friends. Like at this point, this is all you can ask for. Type thing. I do think that like people showing interest, it should be reciprocated. Like that's a kind gesture, I guess, in general. But like, I don't know. I don't think that it's like insane to want friends in adulthood that like are into what you're into.
Okay, hot take for me, like literally, hot take for me.
Yeah.
I think that just the mere act of someone wanting to be friends with you or someone like finding you interesting is never going to be enough.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand that there is nothing more lonely than being surrounded by people and you still feel like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And dare I say, as a person where I guess I'll put like my own like friendship experiences, being surrounded by people who like, I don't want to say like want to be friends with you, but like just kind of like have
they
that
want to be friends.
They want to be friends with you, right?
Interested in making a friendship.
They're interested in you and they're interested in what you do and they're maybe like fascinated by what you do. But you don't feel the same way towards them.
Yeah.
I think that that is a really bad feeling. You just feel, one, you feel shitty.
Yeah.
And two, I feel like it's also just kind of like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm sorry, as a person who's experienced that, I don't agree with like, just because you're an adult, you need to hang out with anybody.
Yeah.
I have been in and out of friendships my entire life. I think the one thing, or I guess I would say like my holy grail for friendships is that you need to have two things in common with people. Number one, morals.
Yes.
You have to have the same morals or this friendship will come back and bite you in the ass. It may not be on that first week, first month, first year. 5 years in, this person says the most fucked up racist thing they have ever said.
It's the most foul thing you can think of.
I mean, anything misogynistic, homophobic. This person is going to say something morally like corrupt.
I mean, it doesn't match with your morals. They could have been dating, like you guys have known each other for 5 years, and for that full 5 years, they've had a boyfriend, and they're talking to you, and they're like, yeah, I mean, I just cheat on him all the time, girl. Like, I don't know, and I don't be feeling bad. And you're like, ooh.
And like, that's the thing. If it's your tea, it's your tea.
Yeah.
If that's something that you and your friends, like find a friend where y'all do that together.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, at least for me in my home and this home that I built brick by brick, I feel like someone not having the same morals with me is a deal breaker.
Yeah.
I feel like I literally cannot sit by, especially in today's climate, with someone like feeling that type of way and having a moral like situation that is also affecting other people, because that's the biggest thing as well. If it's just kind of to yourself, I'm gonna be a little side eye.
You're ruining your own life.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna let it slide a little bit. And once you start bringing anybody else down, I'm like, I just can't get behind that type of behavior.
No.
But like I said, morals is number one, and sense of humor is two. I think those two things are the most important things in finding a friendship.
100%. Yeah, we got to laugh at the same thing.
We have to.
We have to be able to make the same jokes. We got to be able to laugh at what's actually funny.
It was actually funny because let me tell you something. If you find a friend that y'all have similar morals and then y'all can laugh at the same thing, you can go through anything in life together.
Literally.
Like literally, because you will always feel the same way.
Like y'all can face everything.
You can face everything, and it's also like you'll laugh at the same thing. You both will just find life itself funny.
Yeah.
Not taking anything too seriously. And then morals, you will never have to worry about
this person doing you foul. Or
Yeah.
doing something crazy.
Just like-
Obviously, people mess up, but it won't be in the way, like, they won't
be in a way that
backstab you
affects
in like the craziest way possible.
Guys, like that's another episode getting in like betrayals, trials, and tribulations. Like I literally think we might have to do a whole episode on friendship. This is just more of like how to like cultivate friendships as an adult, or like what that looks like for us, what that might look like for you. But yeah, I just think like as an adult, as long as you have those two things in common, like you should be good.
You should be. And I feel like
Sorry, our head is itching. I'm listening.
I was going to also add like motivations, but then I think that also goes into morals. Because I was about to say you could be friends with someone who has the same like humor as you, but like they have no self-motivation to do anything. But like that also goes against morals, because if you guys have the same morals, one thing that would be important to you is like doing something in life, like not just sitting.
No.
And I feel like
let me say, you can't have one and not the other. I said two for a reason. Just because y'all have the same morals, like I have met people where, I mean, we're like moral down, like together, like we're locked in, like we both together, we wrote the 10 Commandments.
Yes.
I feel like that's the kind of like people I have come across before. And yet like, we're like, okay, like, let's go hang out. And then like, I say that you know what I mean? Like I want to go watch a movie. And then they say, I don't watch movies.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, well, it was fun while it lasted.
That's what I'm saying. Like interests are important.
They're so important.
The interest thing. Like I'm tired of people acting like that's not important in a friendship. Come on now. You don't have to be like, I'm like a movie critic.
Yeah, you are.
Like for sure. I'm like, I'm on Google reviews and I'm typing stuff.
You're in the letterbox. Yeah.
I'm in letterbox. Yeah. Like I'm really deep in it. But I'm saying you don't have to be doing that. But like, come on now.
You don't even like any movie?
You don't watch any something that stresses me out more than anything that I really, this is like a turn off in friendships, a turn off in relationships. I would rather you not watch movies at all than to sit in my face and tell me that you only watch comedy movies.
Oh.
I don't know what it is about people who watch comedies that piss me off so bad, but I feel like
you don't take anything seriously.
You wake up in the morning and you're basically putting on like, what is it? Like Goofy, the Goofy movie every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like people who like wake up and their first thought is like, let me put on like the most slapstick, goofiest thing ever to like start my day. I feel like you're the type of person that answers the phone and says, yellow. Like there's something very sinister about that.
It is brewing.
It's brewing. Like you might as well just like pull the things that the like, you want to be a clown.
Yeah, you're pulling a rabbit out of a hat.
You're putting a rabbit and that is really making your day.
Yeah, I think it's more along the lines of you really just don't take anything seriously.
You don't take anything seriously.
I don't know. I really, really deeply do not like that.
I don't like that either.
I don't like anything about that.
I think because I see and in defense of pretension, I'm about to be pretentious for a second, but I don't care. This is sometimes you need to be pretentious. I feel like movies are an art form. Yeah. And I feel like comedies are very disrespectful to that. I'm not saying I haven't laughed at a funny movie. I watch funny TV shows. I've seen funny movies. I think they're funny. But I think that to actually treat that as like a legitimate genre is like insane to me.
Well, I would say in the sense of like, here's the thing. Comedy movies were made to pick people up. Just like comedians. I think it's kind of like when you need to pick me up.
Every now
or like,
and then.
or just as a form, like sometimes like it's just entertaining.
Yeah.
I feel like those types of things, that's all that is.
Yeah.
It's not like literally the thing to live by.
Yeah.
I think it's very strange to say that, oh God, no, it's actually scaring me. To say that you watch movies and you only watch comedies? I don't know.
I feel like that's a nightmare. I feel like the Joker. I feel like something terrible has happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that you're in a constant state of needing to flee reality.
You're in a loop.
Yeah. You are because I think that just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It's like people who say that they're like into films and they only watch like Marvel movies.
That's so true. Oh my gosh, I hate that though.
Get your rocks out.
People who are like constantly like they're into films and it's literally just Marvel.
Yeah, get your rocks out, get your stones, and get ready to toss them. But I feel like as a person who was seated for every Marvel movie growing up, because that's what our family was into, you're not about to play in my face and act like this is like peak cinema.
Yeah, come on.
It is a genre. And like comedy, it's something that you can enjoy on the side. But this can't be what you truly think is the best thing about films, or else, like, I don't know, might have to drop you.
Yeah.
And I think that's valid.
I think so too, because it depends on how important something is to you. People might be watching this and being like, not y'all saying, this is why we don't have friends, because we drop people because they don't watch movies. But, hey, I might direct a movie in the future. This is my life. This is important.
And I support the art.
This is important.
I will always be a supporter of the arts.
I will always.
So if you're not, like, I don't know, this kind of goes into morals.
It's like how some people like can't be around people who like don't like to cook. Like some people take like making food and like preparing food like very seriously.
Even more so, I think some people take like domestication very seriously.
Yeah.
And I think like this is literally not to hate on those people in any capacity. Some people take domestication very seriously. in adulthood, in adult life,
Yeah.
you will find like a woman, at least because we're women, so I have to speak on that.
Yeah.
Who are they like working on something out there?
I don't know.
I think like they're doing like maintenance
I
outside.
would be able to hear that.
No. It's bothering me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm pausing. I'm so sorry. But you will find a person where like maybe it's like this woman and like you want to be friends, but she takes all things domestication so seriously.
No.
Cooking, cleaning,
Like,
her
all of those
relationship,
things.
having a kid. If she has a kid, it's a wrap for me.
Yeah, yeah. But like, what's his name? Ricky and Denzel. When Denzel and on their podcast, when Denzel was like, I hate when I go to people's houses and they have paper plates and paper cups and paper spoons.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a cookout.
Yeah.
That had me cracking up. But
Yeah.
like, if that's an example, like you'll find like those, like you said, those girls within girlhood that are like so serious on like homemaking and stuff.
Yeah.
And like when you're so lax about that, like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't care. It's like a big turnoff for them.
It is.
So it's like
and vice versa.
understandable.
Yeah, yeah.
Understood. Have a nice life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
It's
so
like,
true.
Things are important to different people, and you might not think it's that big of a deal, but like this is the circle that they want to cultivate, and that's that.
You know, I will definitely say though, I do think that in this day and age, people do loop things into overall character more than I think people did back in the day. Because like my mind, when I think of like friendships in this age, it's gonna go back to Sex and the City all the time. That is how I base my life, and I feel like argue with the wall. I feel like Charlotte was way more like domesticated type, and Carrie was literally putting shoes in her oven. So I feel like with that being said, like I do think there is a world where these two types of people can be friends.
No, 100%. I feel like our generation, like I think because of like the whole aesthetic thing and like the way that people try to build like actual personas, it's left like just your online persona to like now trying to do it in your real life. They see someone like dressed a certain way and they're like, oh, we would never get along.
Yeah.
Like they just completely write people off.
So true.
I'm not saying that people don't
crazy.
express themselves with like their outfits.
Yeah.
You can see someone and think like we will probably less likely get along than this other person, but like I've met so many people where like I look at them and from first look, they seem like the type of person I would be interested in just because of like their quote unquote vibe. And then I talk to them and I'm like, I hate this person.
100%.
And same vice versa. I think people do need to stop writing people off very quickly on like, oh, I'm a relaxed person and this girl seems like uptight. We would never get along.
I think in a world of overused aesthetics, people have to understand that these people are putting on something that doesn't dictate their character.
Yeah.
I think what we have to get back to is the source, which is just having a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
If we simply take the time out of our day to not judge by what we see, but by what's coming out of that person's mouth, I think there's your answer right there.
There's your answer.
If you want to find the content of someone's character, listen to what comes out of their mouth. Don't look at anything else in their life. Because I feel like there are people out here in like really fucked up situations.
Yeah.
And then like you meet them and they are so removed from that situation. It's just a situation, that's all it is, that they were unfortunately placed in. But they didn't cause it. They didn't start it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's so important to talk to people as an adult. Talk to people. Stop judging people by where they're at in life. Have a conversation with that person and you'll learn that 90% of the people that you thought you like couldn't get along with, like you have no business being around, genuinely aren't even who like you think they are.
Not at all.
It's so crazy, but I will say that like everyone loves to be a critic. Everyone loves to tear people down. Everyone loves to judge by like, I see this person, they're not doing anything with their life. They're a loser. Their star sign is this. You know what I mean? Like let's get into it.
Guilty. A Sagittarius.
Oh, let me tell you something. Me and a Sagittarius will never have anything in common.
Yeah.
That is the one thing that I will stand on.
Are you telling yourself that? Because it seems like you go out and search for them.
I haven't had a conversation with a Sagittarius in 3 years. Don't play with me. If we're not talking family members, then also I'm being forced to talk to you. I'm held at gunpoint, seeing this person on, vacations, whatever. But I'm saying me and a Sagittarius couldn't be farther from like anything. And like, I guess like we will reveal this, not that we will live by this, but I am a Pisces. So
Gemini vibe.
yeah, which is, I feel like that is if you know, you know. I just feel like Pisces and Sagittarius just don't have no business trying to pretend to have something
Yeah.
in any way. Not a friendship, not a relationship.
If you were born at the end of the year or the beginning of the year, I have nothing to say to you.
That's actually so real.
No, literally.
That's actually so real.
The last 2 months and the first 2 months, we don't have anything to talk about.
We don't have anything to talk about, and actually, like, don't get too close.
Other than that, I'm open to talking to anybody.
Anybody else. It's just like,
Yeah.
if I'm scrolling on Instagram, the year is ending, and like people are giving you like birthday shout outs.
I'm unfollowing.
Yeah, I genuinely.
That's when, oh my gosh, when it hits Capricorn season and I see that I followed a new Capricorn.
Oh, I'm like, yikes.
Yikes.
How did that happen? How did you end up here?
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, I don't.
But don't do that, guys.
No, you don't do that. You don't do that.
No.
We're still growing.
Yeah.
I feel like we're still growing.
evolving.
We're still healing. And also, I actually challenge you guys, if you are a Capricorn or a Sagittarius and you literally think that you could like break the system, like cheat the code, and like you think that like we'd get along, I'm eager to hear about you.
Yeah.
I'm eager. I love for people to like change my mind.
Yeah.
I love for people to try. It hasn't worked out yet.
It couldn't happen.
With Capricorn?
No, it wouldn't happen for me.
Yeah.
No. Sorry.
I don't know if there's one alive.
I don't know. I'm still growing. God's not finished with this girl.
He is not finished with this girl.
He is not finished with this girl. But I feel like we just went on a long tangent, even though that needed to be said.
Yeah.
But there's another thing that, depending on how long we talk about it, might be the last thing we talk about for this episode with adulting. What was I going to say? I feel like it left me. When it comes to adulting.
Am I sitting up straight? Guys, I'm trying to have good posture. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You just said something that brought it to my memory, and I feel like now it's leaving.
Was it? I mean, we were talking about friendships. I started talking about Sex in the City.
Yeah. Started talking about
aesthetics.
No.
Star signs, people believing in things like that.
No. Honestly, it'll come back.
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to talk about is when it comes to adulting and it comes to being patient with yourself and not judging yourself. I think if it's one thing about me, what I've learned in my 23 years, and I'm so happy that I learned it this early because some people still don't know, or some people are just realizing and they're way older. It's like you really, 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 really have to have grace for yourself.
Unlimited amount
of grace for yourself.
That's true.
Like in a crazy way, because it's like, and then you have to realize, like, a lot of times if you're someone like me who does like a lot of negative self-talk and is kind of like a perfectionist, you have to realize that like the things you think just aren't true.
Yeah.
Like they're just not real. It doesn't matter how much evidence you've gathered to the contrary. It's just not real.
You can never underestimate your ability to like completely not be living in reality or to lie to yourself.
Yes.
Depending on how you were raised. I feel like if you have any version of PTSD.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, the girls on the couches might have complex PTSD.
CPTSD.
Yeah, I feel like clock it. I think that it's kind of like you really cannot underestimate the fact that like you literally could be your own like shame monster.
No, literally.
Like
you're literally making your own life hell.
Yeah.
Like, actually, it's the same as like if you guys watched what's that movie where the boy travels like in Meet the Robinsons? Oh my gosh, the little boy who ended up being the villain, but when he was younger, he was like, everybody hated me. And everyone was like, hey, like,
yeah, like they show a scene where everybody literally like loves this guy.
Yeah, like everyone wanted to be friends with him. But it's literally like you will have that thought process of like, my life is terrible, or like everyone hates me, the people at my job don't like me, my friends are turning on me, or type thing. And it's like it is literally all in your brain. And I feel like that's such like when you're entering into adulthood, it's such a common thing to like think that things are 10 times worse than they actually are.
To amplify thoughts.
Yeah.
It is a really common thing to just amplify your thoughts and just start to feel like, oh my gosh, like I am literally the worst.
Yeah.
And it's also about like the standard that you hold yourself to.
Crazy standard.
Yeah.
I was talking to my therapist the other day and I was telling her about how I felt so bad that like sometimes at work when people talk to me, like I just don't feel like talking. And like I just don't put an effort into like continue conversations. And she was like, what standard are you holding yourself to where you think that if you don't have something to say, then that's a negative thing? And literally when she told me that, I went to work literally that next Tuesday and people were talking to me and I wasn't talking. I felt no guilt.
Wow.
I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel ashamed of myself. And then I also started realizing that like I don't think the people around me were even clocking that either.
Yeah.
Because like I was telling her, like, I feel so bad and I feel like people think that I'm standoffish or think this about me and da-da-da. I literally was like only speaking when I felt like I had something to say and it didn't feel off or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, it can really be like you have such a strong belief and like standard or something that you like it was from childhood and now as an adult, like you haven't challenged that.
Yeah.
And it's driving only you crazy.
Well, I mean, it's because you're the person that's kind of like, what is it, like perpetuating the narrative? Like you're the only person that's keeping that thing going.
Yeah.
Also, I do think that that's like a form, not to like low-key like diagnose you, but more of a form of like a very like OCD coded in the sense of like, you're like holding your breath, holding these standards. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're literally like I have to do this or I won't be able to relax. But like the reality is it's just like a formula that you created in your own
It's
head.
like my own little crazy, like, turn the light on off.
Yeah.
Back on this and do da-da-da.
Make sure. And then I feel like you also are more extroverted. So I feel like that might, like you might feel guilty if talking is a thing that brings you joy.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason you don't want to do that, you might be feeling like you're withholding yourself from.
Yeah, like I just felt like maybe I'm not being expressive, but like I said to my therapist and she confirmed for me, if you don't have anything to say, there's no need to talk.
There's no need to speak. Yeah. 100%. Just be quiet.
Just be quiet.
Yeah. No, I think like adulting, I wouldn't have an issue with doing like a reoccurring adulting series type thing.
Yeah.
Like if you guys have anything else that you want us to talk about, like as far as adulting,
We definitely have to do a college experience episode.
100%.
I would love to do that. I really want to do it because for my, like, guys, I had a really negative college experience. Like, it was actually the opposite of everything I thought was going to happen and everything that's shown in, like, media or movies or whatever you dream of happening in college.
Yeah.
It was the complete opposite for me. And I feel like I would love to do an episode where we talk about that just to give, like, a little bit of hope to the girls.
That is so important. I mean, maybe like, it's long overdue to do an episode strictly on anxiety, but I feel like maybe we'll like kind of throw those things in together.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind offering my expertise. I mean, I didn't have like a great college experience either, but it obviously wasn't bad. I do this thing where I tend to like inflate something into something that it wasn't. So me, like, I was very negative during that time. So I was like, I hate everything about it. But when I look back, I'm like, there was absolutely nothing wrong. You know what I mean? I was the person from Meet the Robinsons, which was like, they hated me. Yeah. And everybody's like, hey, Lindsay, are you coming to this party? Yeah. So no, quite literally, I would say that's me. I'm like at war with myself.
Yeah.
It's me and the man in the mirror, no Michael Jackson.
Her.
That's it. I feel like that's been my whole life. Yeah. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. Yeah. I feel like that, once again, another goal for 2025. I want to become positive so that I can step into reality. Yes. Because reality is actually so much better.
It's so much better.
It's so much better, maybe.
I like to say that reality is bleak, but like y'all haven't been in my head. Y'all haven't been in my head because compared to the thoughts up here, reality is like rainbows.
That's what I was saying. Like,
genuinely.
It's World War VI.
It's World War VI.
I'm on the 6th war at this point.
The 6th one.
Oh my gosh. I feel like if they knew. And also, dare I say, I feel like something that is I'm so sorry, guys.
Lana said, I've got a war in my mind.
And I felt that ever since she described me accurately. I feel like one of the most important things as well in adulthood, this would be like my last little tidbit, my little tip, is never, ever, ever give in to isolation. For no reason in your life should you isolate yourself.
There's never, ever a reason.
There's never going to be a reason. I don't care if you're an introvert. I don't care if you're a tired extrovert. No. I don't care if you just have a lot going on.
I don't care if it's burnout.
No.
There's no isolation for extended periods of time. If you want to take 2 days off to just not talk to anybody, then do that. But I'm saying, even like, dare I say, longer than a week.
Yeah, you should never go longer than a week.
In dangerous territory.
You're in dangerous territory because I feel like we were not created to not communicate with people.
No.
When you're by yourself, your thoughts are running wild.
Yes.
My thoughts come out of my head and start running rampant.
No, like they visualize, like they come out and I'm seeing things.
You know what's crazy though? I've always like thought of my thoughts as like I don't know if you guys read the book, like Where the Wild Things Are. That's me and My Little Monsters.
No. You know how I feel.
She has always been so terrified of that movie. And to be fair, like pull up a picture now, guys. Google Where the Wild Things Are and take a look at those monsters. That was the scariest
how
thing.
triggering that is. And now I'm going to think about that for the rest of the day. And if that's in my dreams,
I'm sorry.
literally waking up and raising hell tomorrow.
No, I had to give an accurate description because it's in mine.
Yeah.
I feel like literally like, but smaller versions.
Yes.
I feel like if I stay by myself for too long, I have come up with a coup.
Yeah.
I don't know on what situation.
Yes.
But now I have to overthrow something before they
overthrow me. Like
Yeah.
it's what do they say on the pirate ships when they're trying to overthrow people?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, you know the word is so freaking funny. But no, literally it's that.
Yeah.
Like,
Seize the ship?
no, it's
Oh.
now I gotta look it up. No, like, sorry guys, I'm not trying to waste time.
No.
But like this mess is hilarious. They're like, it's a okay, hold on. What do pirates say when someone
had this like in my mouth? I'm practically eating this microphone.
overthrow the ship? Not them saying like pirate words and phrases. It's mutiny. It is a mutiny. Literally.
Please.
No, I was sitting
not a
and
mutiny.
I'm like the episode where SpongeBob was like, he's trying to fire me. I don't think so. Like, talking to myself.
No.
My eye is twitching like,
No, I'm like, they're coming after me.
they're coming after me.
They're coming after me.
They're coming.
Yeah, no, and
Literally.
no, I think my least favorite thing about myself is being paranoid.
No, because like some people can sit alone and like they just go into like sadness. I don't know what trait it is in our bloodline, but it's like we sit alone and like the paranoia is kicking in.
This comes directly from our father and everyone that we have ever known on this side of the
In
family.
his lineage. It's
Everyone
like,
they've ever known.
I'm sitting in the corner and now I'm like,
No.
the way that person looked at me yesterday, they're plotting.
They're plotting.
And now I have to even the score.
No, because I'm like, they're trying to take my gold and my treasure chest.
They're trying to take my treasure
It's a
chest.
mutiny.
It's a mutiny on the ship.
No, I'm telling you, that's word, I think, growing up in our house, that's word to our father, literally being a paranoid person. And he used to literally walk around because like we had a very open family in the sense that everyone, like, for the most part, spoke their problems out loud.
Yeah.
So like we'd be at dinner and like he's just sitting there talking to our mom about everybody trying to like take his spot.
He's like, the people at work are trying to overthrow me for sure. And she's like, okay, honey.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm telling you, like, I want my position. And like the crazy thing is, I do think that there are certain spaces, I think, unfortunately, when you're dealing with a bunch of white people, they do want you out. That's a fact.
No, that's true.
That is a fact. So I do think that like not too much on paranoia.
No, but like we were sitting at the table like, oh, he's so crazy. And then I would go to school and be like, they want me out.
I'm like, we just got put in a group project. And I'm like, no, they don't choose like my design. I'm like, were you guys talking about this when I was in the restroom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys hate me?
I'm literally thinking they want me out of this group.
Okay.
They want me out of this group.
Let's see what that is. Like,
Right. Like, what's all this?
you guys didn't choose my group name?
No, but it used to be on site.
No, it was on site.
It used to be on site. Like it's me being like the paranoid person, literally having to think like, who can I pick to put in my group with the least amount of resistance?
Yes, literally.
Like to make sure I'm still running this ship.
I'm still running it.
I would never pick anybody.
And
that was
there's
too
not
vocal.
a mutiny. No, like if I have literally planned everything out and someone's like, no, I just don't like this.
She's like rocking back and forth. I'm like, they don't like it. They don't like it.
The people and the other people are agreeing with them. Like, literally.
That makes it worse. There's nothing worse than like someone trying to like foil your plans.
Yes.
And then another like bystander.
Yeah. It's
I'm
like, oh, I see. I like that. Like, stay out of this.
You
Actually,
shut your mouth.
shut up. What? This is between us.
No, but I'm also like, you see what you're doing, you're letting them get into your head.
You're letting them convince you.
No, it's like literally in elementary school and they want to make the board like red instead of pink. I'm like, see, they're getting in your head.
Like I'm sitting out.
They're getting
It's like, you guys are sheep.
Oh,
No, literally.
see, and that's the type of thing about me. I don't know about you, but like, I feel like, you know, obviously the same bloodline, such sore losers. We're such sore losers. I'll quit before I don't get my way.
I don't get my way.
I'm quitting. Like, I'm like throwing all this
and
shit.
I'm throwing this stuff, and I'm like, you know
Oh,
what?
whatever.
Forget y'all.
Whatever. Forget this project. It's not gonna be good without me.
Yeah, I don't even.
I don't need this.
No.
I'm too good for this.
I'm too. When we get the assignment, we rate our partners. Everyone's getting a 2.
You're going down.
What?
I'll take a teacher down. Like, that's how I
No,
was. I'm
really?
like, I don't need this. If I
way.
can't do the bubble letters that I want,
I wanted.
this
But,
whole
like,
thing
I
is
just
over.
ate this project down, this poster, and you just gave me a B.
But also, like, if the group is not, like, if I plan everything out and then people, like, there's one thing they want to veer from,
Yeah.
I'm taking all my ideas back.
No, like, you
These are
actually,
my
like,
ideas.
this is copyrighted.
Yeah.
You actually can't take that.
Yes.
No, like, this was
I
fine.
just
Let's just change the whole thing. And also, don't put my name on that.
Don't put my name on that. Yeah. No, if it's one thing, we grow. Because I think I would benefit maybe in life to not be such a sore loser.
No, but also, I don't know if I have...
You know what? I think maybe it made me, like, it'll make me
Yeah.
into that person I want.
No, I'm just someone that knows what I like.
Yeah.
And that's just that.
Yeah, I don't want to veer from it.
And no, I haven't changed. And we've seen that. We were literally just making thumbnails for one of our YouTube videos.
Oh my gosh.
I had to let my foot down.
That was pulling teeth. No, it is. No, we are definitely those people.
We're definitely those people, no, like working on a group project or like, I think this is good. I think in the future when we're doing like different things, I'm talking campaigns. Because we have...
It's always good to have a vision. It's
I
always
have a
good to have-
vision and like, you're not about to just come in and tell me like, we don't like this.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm stepping
Yeah. Well, then I'm out of here.
I'm outta here.
I'm taking my ideas with me.
with me.
So good luck finding someone.
Yeah. What were we even talking about to get on this topic?
Paranoia.
Oh, paranoia. How do
Paranoia as an adult. I don't know,
as an
girl.
adult, don't be paranoid.
You don't get anywhere in isolation. Don't isolate yourself. Don't be paranoid. Don't be like us. We're making all these jokes, and to be fair, I haven't told a single lie on this couch.
No.
Everything I'm actually like, if you're like, wow, like that's actually crazy.
No,
That's a
like-
shitty way to be.
Literally.
Right hand on the Bible.
Yeah.
Bible, we have not lied.
No.
It is a crappy way to be. And that's the whole point of like trying to heal from anxiety, trying to heal from paranoia, perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things all go together and ruin your life as an adult.
They do.
It's
Yes.
so important
Oh
to
my
let these
gosh.
things go, or you won't be able to move on. Also, I just have to say, it's like I cannot talk right now. I don't know. Maybe I should have had some coffee.
Maybe, but I feel like last thing I'll say when you said perfectionism, like we talked about it, but like my nose was running.
No.
Anyways, what I realized with perfectionism, and I feel like the last 6 months of my life have been like so anti-perfectionism, and I've gotten more done in these last 6 months than I have in like 6 years.
Clock it.
That's what's so crazy.
Yeah.
Even starting this podcast, I have gotten more done in these last 6 months than from the age of 17 to 23.
That's so fascinating.
It's because
That's
I
kinda
decided, I said, I'm just going to start things and they don't have to be good.
And you said you're going to leave perfectionism at the door.
At the door.
At the door, it won't follow you.
No.
It won't make it past the entrance. And I think that's what's so beautiful for you.
And that's that. And that's the end of our episode, our first adulting episode. There will probably be many more because we're still growing adults.
Yeah.
But that's all we have to say right now.
Yep, that is Adulting 101. Like we said, if you want to talk about anything, let's chat in the comments.
Let's chat in the comments. I'm so interested to see if you're someone like us who just got to adulthood, like what have your experiences been and what has been the hardest thing for adulthood for you?
Or if you have any advice.
Yeah, and if you're someone who's already an adult, what advice could you give? Or do you feel like our advice was like pretty good? Especially the friendship topic. I really want to know like what they think about me.
We veered into like crazy land.
Yeah, we did for a second. We
Yeah,
had to
but-
show our crazy side.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, guys.
Let us know. All right, guys.
Toodles. We'll see you in another episode. Oh. No. Why are you doing it that way? No, we do like this.
Is this the millennial heart?
This is a millennial heart? This is a millennial heart. Yeah.
Oh,
This is like the heart that we do now. And
no, I like to do no because I'm just trying to do it for a thumbnail, not the video. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.